Hello students. In this video I'd like to speak a couple of minutes to you about the books you will be using for this class. You will be using a textbook called ICD-10 CM PCS Coding, and you will be using two coding manuals, ICD-10 CM, Clinical Measures, and that's the diagnosis codes, and ICD-10 PCS, which is the procedural coding system used for inpatient procedures. On the screen in front of you is a page from your textbook, and it is Chapter 10. Now what I want to point out is that the numbers for the chapters in your textbook do not match up to the numbers for the chapters in the ICD-10 manuals. All right? This is Chapter 10 in your textbook, and it is speaking to ICD-10 CM Chapter 1, which covers codes A00 through B99, and that would be for certain infectious and parasitic diseases. Okay. In your coding manual, there are the ICD-10 CM official guidelines for coding and reporting. They speak to each chapter. So in the beginning of your coding manuals, there will be the guidelines, and at the beginning of each chapter in your coding manual, they will repeat some guidelines specific to that chapter. Now you've watched the introductory video to the course space, and so here we are looking at week 5 in the course space. The objectives are listed, and then the overview is listed. If the overview speaks to a chapter, it is speaking to a chapter in your textbook. In the checklist, it speaks to the chapters in your textbook. So in this particular one, it says read chapters 10 and 11. Those are the chapters in your textbook. You're going to complete the assignment and you're going to do chapters 10 and 11. It's going to assign you questions from the chapter exercises, the review at the end of the chapter. It is speaking to the chapter in your textbook, and you will study that chapter in your textbook for the quiz. Now, when I say study that chapter, there are exercises in that chapter that you can code to prepare yourself to take the quiz. But I would also suggest, when this is telling you to study a chapter in your textbook, the chapters that textbook is speaking to, so there's a little play on words here, the chapters on the coding manual that the chapter in the textbook is speaking to, you should study those as well. So you should be studying out of your textbook, and you should be studying out of your coding manual. So in this particular case, when you're studying chapter 10, which in your textbook, which speaks to chapter 1 in your coding manual, you want to study both of those. Right? So in the checklist, we are speaking to the chapters in the textbook. And a little further down, here's your reading assignment, right? And it's speaking to the chapters in your textbook. And here's the drop box for your coding assignment, telling you specifically which questions to do in the chapter review exercises, speaking to your textbook. The videos are speaking to the chapters in your coding manual. So back to the textbook, this was chapter 10, and it was speaking about chapter 1 in your ICD-10 CM coding manual. So here we have, you're reading chapters 10 and 11, and in the coding manual of 10 is speaking to chapter 1, and 11 is speaking to chapter 2 in the coding manual. So your videos speak to your coding manual. So this can get a little confusing when you're talking about chapters and you have 3 books. Which book am I supposed to be looking at? I hope that this video helps clear up a little bit of that confusion if it should occur. If at all you have any questions at any time, you can post it in the question and answer discussion board, or you can send it to me in a course message, and I will be happy to give you direction. As always, I wish you happy coding.